My name is Robert, and I have been caring for my wife Eileen for almost 20 years. Initially, she developed Parkinson's, and when she had that for about 15 years, she developed the first signs of dementia. And whilst caring for her with Parkinson's was difficult, it was nothing compared to the care requirements she had when she developed dementia. In fact, it was one of the most difficult points in my life, the 5 years I spent caring for her with dementia. It in fact almost took me to breaking point. So it's quite a difficult task to take on. I'd have to say that caring had a big effect on me. It most definitely changed my life. I had to devote most of my waking hours to caring for my wife as her dementia developed and progressed. And many of the things I had been doing, be they social outlets or pastimes, I just had to drop those things. I liked at that time to play some golf. I played a bit of golf. I had to give it up. I just couldn't spare the time. I had to break off contact with some friends I would meet on an occasion, social reasons. So I became a bit of a recluse in my own home. I became very inward looking. My whole being was channeled towards looking after my wife. Caring is an all-encompassing requirement, and if you take on the role of caring, you cannot do it lightly. It's really all or nothing. And in my case, I suppose subconsciously decided it was all. I was going to give it my best, and that will have consequences, and did have consequences for me. Because as Eileen's condition progressed and her requirements increased, nursing requirements, I'm not going to go into the detail of all of that, but quite a lot of things that I had never thought I could do. In fact, I was very resourceful when I look back on it. You learn on the job. Okay, you do get some outside advice, obviously, and you look for certain advice, and some good advice you will get. But things I wound up doing that were very strange to me when I look back on it. But that's part and parcel of the caring job. You give it 100% or you give it nothing. So I carried on in that vein for 5 years. But coming into the 5th year, I noticed that I had become a very different person. I had become grumpy. I had become short-tempered. I had become a not so nice person. I was not a nice person to know. I was a bit short with people because my mind was very mixed up. I was under a lot of stress and I didn't recognize it. So perhaps the advice to somebody there would be to seek advice, to look after your own health, look after your own well-being. There's no point in trying to be a carer if you yourself become a casualty. You need to be at your strongest. And I was getting to the point where I was no longer at my best, but I didn't quite recognize it. I was struggling. And I suppose in that situation, something has to give. I would say to other people in a situation like mine, trust other people. People by their very nature are good. They're good. They will support you, but you must be open with them. You must tell them what's happening. And you must ask for their support, and they'll more than likely give it. In my case, I was quite reluctant to open up. But when I eventually opened up, I found there was a huge amount of support for me. Unbelievable. Immediate family and others, be they in the neighbourhood or wherever, they almost flocked and said, can we help you? So the advice is, if you need help, ask for it. Certainly let people into your thinking.